Good morning. This is Crystal with Whole New Perspective. I am out here with my basil and I just want to share a few things about the basil with you. But before I do that, guys, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. And I thank you for doing that. So there are several ways to harvest basil. You can pick the whole stalk, you can cut it, or you can just pick the leaves. And what I'm going to do today will be a little bit of both. I'm going to thin these out, so I'll be picking look at that, I'm going to pick the entire stalk, and I'm also going to cut it so that it can bush out a little more. I'm going to pick these, I'm going to come over, and I'm going to harvest the purple basil. So I'll harvest some of this. I think I'll cut some of it as well so that it can bush out. So over here, this is the first basil that I planted. And I did cut, let me see if I can show you this one. See, I cut the top of it off. And after you cut the top of it, it bushes out. So it's forming two additional plants, additional growth areas. See, there's that one. And then there's that one. And that's after I cut this. And I cut this, it's been 2 weeks, and it's already grown this much. And so if you want to get more basil and you want your basil to be bushier, you can go ahead and cut it, and then it'll grow 2 more and it'll start to bush out. I'm gonna cut this one. I still have time for mine to bush out, and I've already cut this one and it's starting to bush out, and this one as well. But that's just an example of how it will grow. If you clip it, you'll get a bushier basil plant. So yeah, I'm gonna bring you inside with me as I make my basil. I'm gonna share how I make my pesto with you now. The basic recipe that you'll find almost anywhere will be 2 cups of basil, 2 tablespoons of pine nuts, 2 large cloves of garlic, half a cup of extra virgin olive oil, and half a cup of shredded Parmesan cheese. But I'll share with you how I make mine. I'm going to be doubling the recipe today. And I will also say that I'm using my own garlic that I grew. My garlic is pretty small, so I'm going to be using several cloves of garlic. And I don't purchase pine nuts. And so I usually will use whatever nuts I have around the house. I always have almonds, cashews, walnuts, pecans. So today I'm going to use some almonds. So I just crushed the almonds, and that's what I'll use. And the reason I'm going to use almonds is the extra virgin olive oil. I'm using a specialty one today, and it has a hint of almonds and apple flavor to it. And so I thought it would be good to use the almonds with that. So let me just show you. I'm starting off with 4 cups of basil. And then again, my homegrown garlic. I'm going to put several cloves in here. Because it's small. Now, if you don't want to use nuts, if someone has a nut allergy, you just leave the nuts out. So that's 4. I'll use a little more because we like the nuts in it. Then you can put some salt and pepper to taste. When I don't use any salt, I usually find that it needs some. So I'm just going to put a little bit in there. Parmesan is somewhat salty, but I still need just a little more. So this may be a little loud. I'm just gonna blend it just a little. Then I'm just gonna pour in my extra virgin olive oil. Normally I don't measure, but because I'm doing this for the camera, I'll just measure it. Then I like to just stir it up a bit. Then I'm just gonna add the Parmesan cheese at the very end. And it's a bit chunky, which is how I like it. I don't like to use it right away. I like for the flavors to just marinate a little bit, and then I would use it a few days later. But what I'm gonna do with this is I freeze it, and then I use it after that. Now, in the past, I used to freeze it in reusable glass jars, and I like that. But now I need more freezer space, and so I'm just gonna freeze it in bags. I'll lay it flat, and then when I need it, I can just take it out of the freezer and we'll just use it like that. And I mainly like to use it over pasta. So I'll bring you along with me and I'll show you that. You can use your pesto any way you'd like to, but I mainly use mine over noodles. Thank you guys for following along with me. I just wanted to show you why I was growing so much basil. We love pesto. So try it out and let me know in the comments the different ways you use basil. I have 3 bags ready to go for the freezer. Thank you guys so much for coming along with me.